it's Rioncati with Vision. Let's talk about the relationship between television, consumers, and consciousness. If we look at different markets, here we're really looking at entertainment, and we look at the evolution of consciousness in the world, we can look and see that wherever there is oppression, the people will break free. With entertainment, we want to look at what is the state of consciousness with the consumers. So when we look at television and commercial advertising and the relationship it has with the consciousness of the people, we start to see that it's not the most evolved when we look at it consciously, which includes looking at the subconscious influence that advertising has on people. And instead of inspiring, awakening, and evolving people, it's keeping them in stuck patterns because of the relational dynamic for decades. And this is what's happening, is millions of consumers are unaware that the programmer and the commercial programming has the power. And it's not a very healthy relationship. It's very dysfunctional in many ways. And so instead of awakening, they have a stimulus response program receiver type of relationship with whatever the programmers want to use. And so people are so conditioned into the way that advertising just is. Here's the professional voiceover with the car commercial and the snarky know-it-all matter of fact, everything. Like, people are just so conditioned as consumers in the matrix. And that is not awakening. So there's so many dynamics to talk about. YouTube, iTunes, and with smartphones and streaming services, it's empowering consumers. It's giving them more independence. And even the cultural creatives demographic watches TV 50% less, and they're pissed off with what's going on in television and even the types of programming. When we consciously look at that relational dynamic, that commercial advertising is basically oppressing people instead of liberating them, because that's just the way it is. And people start realizing that, okay, we're having more independence. Well, what's the future? How is consciousness, how is freedom going to happen? So this is what Vision is about, and the entire cause of transformational entertainment. I'm just bringing more insight and awareness into how can we use media and a relationship with media to evolve consciousness. How can entertainment itself evolve consciousness and awaken the people? So we're going to have to look at the type of relationships that we have, and commercial television advertising and the relationship consumers have with it is not liberating. It's keeping them stuck in old paradigms and values, not to mention that when someone turns on a popular TV program, they're actually tuning into that level of consciousness. And so then we got to look at how evolutionary is it, or is it? The superficial like programming that people are consuming, whatever the statistics are, it used to be 7 hours a day, the average American watching TV, that's programming. So we really got to take this stuff seriously as producers ourselves. How are we living by example ourselves in our own life? Are we using media consciously? Is our relationship one of empowerment? Or is it one of, we're the sponge to whatever popular programming they want to get out there is, and all of a sudden we have sexual anxiety, we have unworthiness, all this stuff that programming is influencing, because the people are not really aware of their relationship. So when we go back to the subject here, looking at television and consciousness and the evolution, it gives us new dynamics to look at. Where are things headed? In different markets, when the people start becoming aware that they've been oppressed, they're going to start awakening and demanding more independence and freedom. Freedom is the evolution. I'm glad you're a part of this as well, because media has such influence on our consciousness. How conscious are we? What can we do to make these changes? And how can we start living in our personal lives as the model we want to see in the world? This is Real Nkati for TEM Vision, Transformational Entertainment Media Vision.